The CZ Shadow 2 is known for being one of the baddest guns in Carry Optics division, but it's huge and heavy. Now you can carry your love for check hammer guns with your Shadow 2 Compact. Welcome back to the Humble Marksman channel. I'm David and I want to talk to you about the CZ Shadow 2 Compact that I got to handle and shoot at TriggerCon 2023. These guns were way more popular than I'd imagined they would be because they're basically sold out everywhere to the point where all of the prices have jumped up from the about $1,300, which is a decent price, to about $1,700 from gougers at this point. But before we dive into that, I do need to thank my channel sponsors. First and foremost, my Patreon supporters. Thanks so much, guys. You guys are awesome. And Optics Planet, where the code HUMM does absolutely nothing and you shouldn't try and use it. So I don't have a Shadow 2 Compact, so I'm gonna hold up my old PO1 Omega, and this is gonna be our pretend Shadow 2. So how does the Shadow 2 Compact stack up against the big boy Shadow 2? Well, they had both there and I shot them kind of back to back, and honestly, it was a surprise how well the Shadow 2 Compact shot compared to its bigger brother, considering it's going to an alloy frame similar to like the PO1. But before we do that, what's kind of interesting is we've sort of come full circle on this. Originally, when they were making the Shadow 2, is they took the thickness of the alloy CZ guns and they made it out of steel, which is what the Shadow 2 is. Now they've taken the Shadow 2 grip and made it out of alloy and made it 15 rounds flush. So that is interesting that we sort of come full circle. And the reason that's cool and the reason that I bring it up is a lot of people who have Shadow 2s like to shoot them in competitions. And with a Shadow 2 Compact, you could conceivably have a Shadow 2 that you use in competition. You could have a Shadow 2 Compact that you carry, and your carry gun could back up your main competition gun. It's not ideal. It'd be better to have two of the guns you compete with, but at the same time, I've been there before and I've done that. So what's different about the Shadow 2 Compact versus something like a PO1 Omega? Now, first and foremost, this is not exactly the same action. The PO1 Omega has a firing pin block. It is the CZ75B action, whereas the Shadow 2 is the old 75 action and does not have a firing pin block. The reason I bring that up is twofold. First and foremost, if you're carrying one of these guns in double action, just carry it at half cocked, don't carry it with the hammer all the way down. The trigger mechanism is the same from gun to gun. So the double action and single action that you're used to on the Shadow 2, you'll be able to get on the Shadow 2 Compact, whereas the actions on the PO1s with the firing pin block are never going to be quite as nice as what you're getting out of the old CZ75 action. And the second thing is that the checkering on the front and back strap of the Shadow 2 make the gun stay planted in your hands. And that's true on the Shadow 2 Compact as well, whereas the old PO1 frames have just got like basically these lines that are basically slippery on both sides of the frame. So the Shadow 2 is going to stay put, and as a result of that, when shooting the Shadow 2 Compact, I was really surprised how well the gun returned. Now, on a big heavy gun like a Shadow 2, it's going to be generally better on tight shots. It's going to recover from recoil a little bit faster. It's going to settle in off transitions a little bit faster, being closer to kind of that magical 40-ounce weight limit that is sort of the sweet spot for an uncompensated 9mm gun. The Shadow 2 is going to weigh more like a PO1 at 29 ounces, but the gun at distances out to probably 15 yards is going to perform very similarly to the Shadow 2. I was surprised how well that gun shot. I was not ready for it. So I am starting to understand the appeal of the Shadow 2. I was not ready for how well that gun was going to shoot, so I'm starting to actually understand the appeal of the Shadow 2 Compact. And another thing that it has is it has the drilled and tap mag release, so it has a button on the mag release to make it more accessible. The other thing is the Shadow 2 Compact is going to come with the aluminum grips that are on the Shadow. These grips are nice looking. Actually, they're kind of iconic in my mind. I always feel bad when I remove the grips from a Shadow 2 because they are just so pretty. Up top, the Shadow 2 Compact is basically same as the Shadow 2 OR, and then it comes with a rear adjustable sight and a fiber optic front that is a plate system that you can swap out optics onto. So it's basically the same setup as the CZ Shadow 2 Optics Ready. Now, tomorrow's video that I'm gonna be doing is gonna be on the DWX Compact. I did get these side by side, and in that video, I'll be discussing which one I would pick between the two, because I'm sure you guys are gonna ask. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.